Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Got question Chase, has got the facts, talking NFL numbers, he's got your back. A little chart trend ball, man, he's got it like that. Chasing data by do champions. Chasing data applies to everyone. Chasing data, yeah, we're live today. Chasing data for always. Chasing data, Baidu champions.
What's up, and welcome to another episode of Chasing Data. We are already nearing the quarter mark of the season. We're almost a fourth of the way through. Week 14, and I guess there's now 8 weeks now, so we're around 20%. But it's flying by. Time flies when you have fun. If you're new to this, everything we do is analytics based, numbers based, less X's and O's, more ones and zeros. And here's a little breakdown of what we'll do tonight. We will go over Thursday Night Football, look at the power rankings, look at the top players of Week 3, some of the storylines and matchups, and go over every game of Week 4, and look at the game of the week, and then just money line picks for all of them. So with that said, let's go ahead and start talking about Thursday Night Football. This game ended up being just a 3-point game, which was much closer than what I thought it was going to be or what it was for the majority of the game. Well, the Seahawks, they dominated the first half, and then the Marvin Harrison decided to show up and show out in the second half, finally show up and be a number 4 pick. But when you look at what happened in this game, last night I was talking to some people and they were wondering why Trey Benson did not get the carries that he had. Why was he out in the second half? I mean, the game script just did not favor him in the slightest. Once they were down 20-6 with around 15 or about a minute left in the third quarter, at that point they had to try to get as many opportunities to score as they could. And DeMarcado was the pass catching back for this team. Kyler was terrible. He was not great. He was 27 of 41. For 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions last night. He attempted 15 passes behind the line of scrimmage, most in a game in his career. He struggled going downfield, which was over 10 yards, and he was 4 for 12, 67 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I mean, it was just it was not good. I mean, late in the game, I don't really put much into when they're trailing, they're pushing the ball more. So different defensive scheme that they get from their opponents at that point. On the other hand, Sam Darnold looked great. He has looked great ever since the Seahawks have signed him. I questioned that, being that they didn't have a great offensive line that Sam would be walking into, but Skeeter, appreciate all the flowers. But Sam Darnold has come in and has been absolutely spectacular. I mean, he's been better than I think anybody ever thought that he could be. Skeeter, appreciate it. My goodness. 18 of 26 last night, 242 touchdown and a touchdown. 9 of 10 on passes outside the numbers. 146 yards. I mean, he was just amazing. He managed the game. He's doing what a quarterback needs to do in order to my Lord, Reek, Lad, or Tet. And since all these roses, I'll definitely take the time to answer this right now. Tyreek Hill versus the New York Jets is a reasonable option because New York Jets defense has been god-awful. Aaron Glenn has not done anything to really change that secondary. Is he going to draw Sauce Gardner? Does it really matter? Ladd McConkey has not played to the highest level, but Greg Roman has been passing the ball. The emergence of Quentin Johnston and having Keenan Allen has taken a lot of the target share away from Ladd. And Tet, the argument for him is that he's the only wide receiver that's worthy of throwing passes to in Carolina. Carolina plays New England. McConkey plays the Giants. The game script, I don't know how much is going to favor him in the Giants game. They may be up so early. Honestly, I want to go Tyreek Hill. just because of how terrible that secondary has been for the Jets. So that's my honest answer. I would go Tet number 2 just because he's going to get such a target share. But again, appreciate all the roses that you gave. So yeah, Sam Darnold's they're running play action like crazy. I mean, setting up everything. Gray Zabel had his first pressure allowed of all season last night. That was his first one, and he's a rookie, top guard already in the first 4 weeks, I should say. And when you look at the advanced numbers, Sam Darnold had like a top 10% game as far as EPA per play goes, positive 0.47 per play, a total EPA of 15, a dot of over 9. Where Kyler Murray was negative on EPA, -2 total EPA, and only 5 yards a dot. I mean, just 2 totally different quarterbacks all around. The Seahawks also finished with 14 different defenders recording at least 1 pressure on Kyler Murray, which is absolutely insane. I mean, if you have 14 pressures in general, much less 14 players having pressures. And only one had more than 2, and that was Uchenna Nwosu, who had an outstanding game for them. But, I mean, going forward, the Seahawks look good. They look like they definitely could compete in the NFC West. What's going to happen with the Arizona Cardinals? I don't know. Their run game is shot. Trey Benson, I mean, if he's going to get right, he is going to be next week against the Tennessee Titans. But we'll see. I don't really want to write him off yet. Like I said earlier, the game script did not favor him in the slightest, being that they were down going into the fourth quarter. But the Seahawks look like a better team. I don't know why it was only -1.5. They did win just by 3. K-Dot, appreciate the follow. Drake May or Jordan Love or Geno Smith. Geno Smith has been playing terrible based on what he did last year. Drake May was the second highest EPA per dropback going into week 3. He had a down week. I mean, the turnovers just were terrible for New England. A lot of it not his fault, obviously. But Drake May plays Carolina, and their defense is terrible. Michael Penix, that shows how bad he was because he couldn't do anything against them last week. Jordan Love plays Dallas, though. And Dallas currently has 3 of the 4 worst coverage EPA DBs in the NFL out of 195 qualifying DBs. 3 of the 4 worst. So I go Jordan Love just by default based on the secondary that he's playing. Moving on to the power rankings for this week. And this is all, take this into consideration that this is before Thursday Night Football. So these are going to change a little bit. Probably not too much from where Seattle and Arizona are at. But, yeah, Dallas also has a horrible rush defense. Yeah, Jacobs should bounce back, but their pass defense is worse than their rush defense, honestly. But starting from the bottom and working our way up. 32, New Orleans. They are just god-awful. Tennessee, slightly ahead of them. They do have a quarterback. And then you have New York at 30 and 29. Miami at 28. Cleveland at 27. Cleveland moved up 3 spots. I mean, they got that win over Green Bay. If they had a quarterback, I mean, man, they would be top 16. I kind of want to move them higher, but their offense is just holding them back at this point. Continuing on, Cincinnati, Las Vegas at 26. They are just falling apart quickly. Cincinnati 25, Dallas 24. Their defense is god-awful. They have no CeeDee Lamb right now. 23, Chicago. Chicago looked great against Dallas, but again, that's Dallas's defense that has been terrible. 22, Atlanta. Michael Penix, Lord help him. 21, Carolina. They're the biggest mover as far as risers go. For week 4, they moved up to 11 spots. I had them 32nd after week 2, but they bumped off. I mean, yeah, after week 2. Now they're 21st. I mean, Bryce has looked good over the last 5 quarters, or decent. Houston at 20. They look terrible. The offensive coordinator may be out after this week. 19, Pittsburgh. 18, New England. 17, Minnesota. 16, Arizona. 15, Jacksonville. 14, Denver. 13, Washington. 12, Seattle. 11. Look, I got AFC West. 12, Seattle. 11, NFC West. Sorry. 11, San Francisco. 10, Los Angeles Rams. 9, Tampa Bay. 8, KC. 7, Indy. 6, Baltimore. 5, Green Bay. 4, Chargers. 3, Detroit. 2, Philadelphia. 1, Buffalo. Trendon, I recognize the name, follower already. Juwan Johnson or Fannin Jr. Juwan Johnson plays the Buffalo Bills, and Fannin plays Detroit. I kind of want to go Fannin. We might get some Tyler Shough play time by the second quarter. Spencer Rattler could become the 5th quarterback to ever go 0-10 to start his career. My heart just says Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin is just going to be a household name by the end of the year. Appreciate the follow. But yeah, so the biggest faller in the power rankings were the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, when you lose 30-0 to a team that I had last in the rankings the week before, you don't deserve to be there. Max, appreciate the follow. Baker or May? Baker Mayfield is going up against the New York Jets, and they have the worst. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong necessarily. The only thing that gives me hesitancy is that the Carolina defense, as terrible as they are, did shut down Michael Penix last week. And they do have a CB1 in J.C. Horn. That could be the only thing that sways me away from Drake May. But when you look at Baker, I mean, Baker is just balled out. They're getting Tristan Wirfs back. Yeah, Mike Evans is going to be out. Oh, I said he's going up against the Jets. They're going up against Philly. Sorry. I think I go Drake May. Because he's playing a worse defense than Philadelphia. Unless they figure out to put their best wide receiver on Adoree Jackson each and every play. But at this point, I will just go Drake May. The biggest riser outside of Carolina were the Chicago Bears, who moved up 8 places, and the Indianapolis Colts. I have them at 7 at this point. Trey Monty for Scadaboo. I mean, we know that run game. Monty's not going to get any less touches. I mean, the floor for him is just so high. You're really taking a risk if you take Scadaboo. Jamar rest of the season. I think the quick game is going to be fine in Cincinnati. I posted a video about how they are predicated on it. It just was a terrible from the start with Minnesota versus Cincinnati last week. Looking at my top 6 players, top 3 offense, top 3 defense for week 3. At number 3, I had let's see. Who should I start out for my wide receivers? Out of Keenan, Egbuka, Jacoby, A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, just based on the fact that they finally realized that they had a top 5 receiver on their team in the second half against the Rams. So I lean him for sure. Second one I would pick is probably Egbuka. He has shown out. The only thing I worry about is how much Quinion Mitchell coverage is he going to get. If he can get some Adoree Jackson coverage, then he will eat. Caleb Williams was number 3 player, offensive side of the ball last week, 19 for 28, 298, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, easily the best game of his career. Again, going into that week, he was playing the top 2 worst DBs as far as coverage EPA allowed, and with the Dallas Cowboys. Now they have 3 of the top 4 worst, with Emmanuel Forbes being number 1. But he had a positive 16 EPA, a 142 rating, over 10 yards per attempt. That's his first game with positive EPA per dropback this entire season. Trey Tucker was number 2. This was a career game for him. 8 receptions on 9 targets, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns, positive 15 EPA. His first career 100-yard game, he had 145 yards. He's also the first player with 3 touchdowns versus off coverage, which is 5 or more yards, since 2019, which is ridiculous. Egbuka or Dobbins, considering their matchups. Like I said, the only thing that worries me with Egbuka is that he may get the Quinion Mitchell treatment. Denver is going up against Cincinnati. I kind of want to go with J.K. Dobbins, honestly. Number 1 player last week, and the guy that has jumped from plus 2,500 to plus 500 in the Offensive Player of the Year odds is Jonathan Taylor. 17, 102, 3 touchdowns, a 53% success rate. It's his 3rd career 100-yard, 3-touchdown game with the Colts. He is second most now, only behind Edgerrin James, who had 5. This guy, he's either first, second, and third in like 8 different categories for running backs. I mean, he is low-key offensive player, but could he get in an MVP vote? I doubt it, because it's a quarterback-driven award, but see what happens. He's definitely my vote for Offensive Player of the Year right now. On the defensive side of the ball, it was all linebackers for me. Number 3, Robert Spillane for the Patriots, 15 tackles, 7 stops, 1 quarterback pressure, 1 reception allowed, 1 interception. He was third in stops last year with 60, and he had 7 more this week. Number 2, Bobby Wagner, who never ages, 11 tackles, 6 stops, 5 quarterback pressures, the most by any off-ball player this season. 2 sacks, 2 receptions allowed for 26 yards, and he had a touchdown. Number 1, Tremaine Edmonds, 15 tackles, 10 stops, 1 quarterback pressure, and 2 interceptions. So, I mean, that's some of the things that really caught my eye in week 3. In a redraft, trade Javonte for Quentin Johnston. I mean, possibly, yeah, because, I mean, Quentin Johnston has definitely been the better wide receiver, too, thus far. He had 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks. You know, let's get into the games. So the Thursday night games we already went through the Thursday night game. Looking at what we have on the screen. Oh, let's bounce around. I'm gonna go in my own order. Do you think Jose Altuve will not get a run today? This is the wrong stream, my dude. Minnesota is 2.5-point favorites at Pittsburgh. Carson Wentz. I'm curious to see how he can carve up this Pittsburgh defense. Pittsburgh is currently 9th, has the 9th worst EPA versus the pass. They have been terrible thus far. They have the 6th highest pressure rate. So how does Wentz do under pressure? We know what he's done in the past. So I'm curious to see what he can do under pressure. And where are they at? Ireland in this game? Last week when he was under pressure, he threw 60% of his passes under 2.5 seconds. JJ McCarthy was at 17% through 2 weeks. With all that said, I think the Vikings run away with this game. I don't think they're going to blitz. We know Brian Flores, who had the highest blitz rate last year, is going to do that and going to do it well. They blitzed the 8th highest rate, and Rodgers is ranked next to last, 30 out of 31 qualifying quarterbacks as far as EPA per drop back when pressured. All right. Next game, the Chargers, 6.5-point favorites versus the Giants. Jackson Dart versus this Jesse Minter defense. What's going to happen with that? Dart just has to throw the ball up to Malik. I mean, if he's out there, he has to give Malik Neighbors the ball. Just get it to him at all times. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? It can't be no worse than what's happened with Russell Wilson thus far. Out of the 35 top target getters, Malik is at 50% reception rate, which ranks 3rd lowest. Warren or Kraft? Tucker Kraft, because they're playing Dallas, and Dallas, I know this is DBs, but I mean, he's got to get to the secondary at some point. Dallas has 3 of the 4 worst defensive backs in the NFL right now, as far as coverage EPA goes. What's this thing doing? Interesting. Let's run on through this because something's going on with my laptop. Okay, whatever. Tennessee at Houston. Houston better win this game. Yeah, no problem, Blake. If you don't follow, go ahead and hit that follow button for me if you don't mind. Get you some more analytics-based NFL. No Brian Callahan calling the plays anymore. Is D'Amico on the hot seat if they lose this game? They're going to be 0-4. No 0-3 team has made the playoffs in quite some time. It's only like 3 out of the last 96 that have done it. They're currently 28th in EPA per play. They are just terrible right now. Terrible. Do I think Joe Mixon is coming back for the Texans this season? Yeah, I mean, unless they go 0-4, 0-5, he may just hang it up and say there's no point in putting miles on his legs at that point. Stroud is 27th in EPA per dropback right now, which is ridiculous. So, like I said earlier, the offensive coordinator could be out the door soon if they lose this game. Washington at Atlanta. Penix has a negative 0.66 EPA per dropback, 2nd worst of any quarterback this season, behind only Jake Browning. He's currently 28th out of 31 qualifying quarterbacks in EPA overall, a 42% success rate, 5th worst. And the Washington defense has been much improved through 3 weeks. So I don't see there being a way that Washington loses this, even without Jaden Daniels or Terry McLaurin. New Orleans at Buffalo. We don't even need to talk about that. It's a 15.5-point spread. This is probably going to be Spencer Rattler's last start. He could be the 5th quarterback all time to start his career 0-10. Philadelphia, 3.5-point favorites at Tampa Bay. This is a true test for Tampa Bay. They've had negative success rates and still won the game on 2 of their 3 games thus far. Let's see. Collins and K9 for Kamara and Henry. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, for sure. That's an easy one. K9 is going to get a lot of touches taken away from him by Charbonnet, who was out touching him prior to the injury. Nico, I don't know what's happening with that offense. Kamara could get traded. Derrick Henry still going to give you the big explosive plays. Cleveland and Detroit. Detroit are 10-point favorites. Cleveland, they were what, 11-point dogs last week, or was it 9-point dogs against the Packers, and they won that game outright. They have the 3rd best rush EPA allowed per rush in the NFL. 3rd most sacks, 4th fastest time to pressure, the lowest rush yards over expected at 65 under, negative 0.51 rush yards before contact per attempt. The next is a positive 40.4. So they are giving up almost 1 yard less per carry versus anyone else in the NFL. Raj, AJ Brown, Jacoby, Zay Flowers, Tyreek. Start 3 real quick. Jacoby's out. Carolina at New England. New England are 6-point favorites, 5.5. Can they not beat themselves, or can they can Carolina be the team that they were versus Atlanta? Bryce is good in the red zone. Surprisingly, he's 10th in EPA per play, 8th in success rate. So if they can get to the red zone, he can get them in there to score. How is Trey Tucker going to do this week? Last week he had a career game. He never had more than 100 receiving yards in a game. He had 145, 9 targets, 3 touchdowns versus off coverage. I think we go back to him until we're proven wrong. The 3 touchdowns versus off coverage were the most by any receiver since 2019. Jacksonville at San Francisco. This is going to be a good game. This is a prove-it game for both teams. Well, I guess more for Jacksonville, especially if they want to compete in the AFC South. 3.5-point favorites are the Niners right now. Mac Jones, who is not playing now. Jacksonville has the 2nd best EPA allowed per pass play in the NFL right now. They were the worst, or next to worst, in almost every category last season. They already have 9 takeaways. They had 9 all of last season. We give Ladd 1 more week against that Giants secondary that is not the best, to say the least. The entire defense is not playing well. Give him another week. I think his target share is just going down due to the improvement of Keenan Allen being there and Quentin Johnston taking a step forward. Indy at LA Rams. This is one of the top games of the week this week as well. Daniel Jones has the highest success rate in the NFL. I already talked ad nauseum about Jonathan Taylor and how he's leading or is in top 3 of almost 10 different running back categories right now. He's the offensive player of the year favorite at this point. The Rams have the 6th best EPA allowed per play and the most sacks in the league. So how good is this offensive line going to hold up against that front 4 that is amazing? And we know Daniel Jones, how he can be under pressure. Drop Fannin for Gadsden. No. Fannon's going to be, I've said this many times over, Fannon's going to be a household name by the end of the season. So we roll with Fannin, especially against Detroit. That game script's going to have them passing the ball a ton against Detroit. They're going to be playing from behind. They're going to be passing the ball. Jaden, appreciate the follow. Kraft or Hunter Henry? Kraft, because they played Dallas, and he's going to be in the secondary at some point. And Dallas currently has, out of 195 qualifying DBs, 3 of the top 4 worst DBs as far as coverage EPA goes. So definitely go Kraft. Baltimore at KC. Since 2012, 82 teams have started 1-3. One of these 2 teams are going to be 1-3, and 11 of them have made the playoffs. So roughly 1 out of 8. But you don't want to be that. You'd rather be 2-2 than 1-3. One of these is going to be 1-3, and the media is going to go crazy with it. Chicago at Las Vegas. It's basically a pick 'em, 1.5-point spread. Vegas is terrible. They have the 8th worst defense, 6th worst versus the pass. The run is decent, but the 20th ranked offense as well. Worst run game in the NFL. This is now the 2nd year in a row. They had a league low 78 yards per game on the ground last year. They get Genty, and I will never be tricked into saying a team without an offensive line needs to draft a running back early. Chicago should win. Green Bay at Dallas, 7-point favorites. I just talked about that secondary and how bad it is. If Matthew Golden can't get going this week, I don't know when he will. Monday Night Football, Lord Jesus, help us all. Jets at Dolphins, somebody will be 0-4. We don't need to talk any more about that. Cincinnati at Denver. Denver is over a touchdown favorite, which is crazy, honestly. I know Jake Browning did not look good in week 3, but that game script just went bad from the beginning with the fumbles and everything else. But I don't think he's that bad of a backup quarterback. It's a matter of if they can get the quick game going. He was 8 for 10, 43 yards in the quick game in week 3, a -10 total EPA. If he don't do good this week, do they make a trade for like Jameis or something? Because they want to stay at 500 if Joe Burrow is able to come back. That's a big question. So to finish this up, rapid money line picks: Minnesota over Pittsburgh, Chargers over Giants, Houston over Tennessee, Washington over Atlanta, Buffalo over New Orleans, Philly over Tampa Bay, Detroit over Cleveland, Carolina over New England, San Francisco over Jacksonville, Rams over Colts, Ravens over Chiefs, Bears over Raiders, Packers over Cowboys, Dolphins over Jets, Broncos over Bengals. That's it for the live show on the stream. We're going to stay on TikTok here. If you don't follow everyone, go ahead and follow at King NFL Stats on everything. Do Champions. We're going to run some ads, and then we'll get on TikTok and answer some of these questions.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliott Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.
He has